There's been a lot of growth on this channel over the past 2 years. I spent thousands of dollars buying mics and gear to review, and more gear on top of that to make my videos informative, entertaining, hopefully, and pretty to look at. I've dorked about with different cameras, lighting, and all that. I've learned some new editing tricks, new software, and new techniques. I've tried to tighten up my delivery and make things shorter and more concise. I've learned that's called being information dense. And yet, as we near 500 subs, there's always room for improvement. Or is there?
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and you know what? Chicken butt.
How are ya, booth campers? Andrew Scott, and you're at the VO Booth Camp. So yeah, we're coming up on 500 subscribers to the channel. And to say that I'm honored is a bit of an understatement. I deeply appreciate the support. So thank you to all who've jumped in for the ride. Seriously, thank you guys. That 500 subscriber number is significant for a few different reasons, but I'll get to those in a bit. You know, this whole channel was born out of a question that was asked of me on a social media platform. Somebody wanted me to elaborate on an explanation I'd given, and I'd figured that the best way to do that was to show, not tell. Well, that and I was sick of typing. So I took my phone into my booth, flipped a few switches, and here we are. I never set out to be a YouTuber. Honestly, if you'd asked me a few years ago if I ever wanted to be a talking head or a YouTube personality, I'd have rolled my eyes pretty hard. I mean, I'm a 50-something-year-old guy with about as much visual appeal as a paper sack of wet napkins. What business do I have being the face of anything? Back at the height of the pandemic, I decided to write a book on how to get into this wacky business of ours. That book, The Quick and Dirty Guide to the Home Voiceover Industry, has helped a bunch of people get their start. And I'm proud of that. I'm also proud that other industry pros, like our friend Booth Junkie Mike DELGAUDIO, saw their personal experience reflected in my own and supported me in spreading that message. And if you bought that book, thanks. Since I wrote that book, a lot has changed in our industry to the point that over the coming months, I'm going to have to be updating it to reflect this unique place that the home VO industry is finding itself in now. But these changes are also going to shape this channel as we move into year 3 of Booth Camp. So I wanted to take a minute and talk about that. Regarding the channel, I want to cover a few things. Most notably, things that won't happen, things that might happen, and things that will happen. But before we run those down, I feel it's important in the interest of full disclosure to make mention of a few things. First off, unlike many VO educators on this platform, I don't make a dime off of YouTube. As a matter of fact, my presence on this platform has actually cost me thousands in gear, subscriptions, and work hours that I'm not giving to my own clients and coaching students. And frankly, I doubt if I'll ever recoup the investment. That's not a whine. It's just how it is. And I'm okay with that. But to think I'm doing this to get rich or be YouTube famous is pretty far away from the truth. Plus, I don't want to be YouTube famous. That's never been a goal of mine. My only goal for the VO Booth Camp has been to hopefully be VO helpful. It just so happens that YouTube is the platform that allows me to attempt to do that. Now, here's where that 500 subscriber threshold comes into play. YouTube recently changed the line in the sand where content creators get to step into a different level of, I don't know, YouTuberism. Anyway, I'm sure you all have heard the term monetization, right? That obviously translates into how YouTubers can make money off of their content. Now, the main way most YouTubers do this is through something called AdSense. That's Google's way of sharing revenue with content creators on their platforms. And since Google owns YouTube, that's how YouTubers make their money from the ads that are attached to their content, either by way of a pre-roll or a mid-roll placement. Monetization is a big deal for most YouTubers. Some would say the goal. And up until recently, in order to join that program, a channel needed to have 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, or 10 million shorts views. Recently, though, YouTube changed the requirements for a few things, and there's now more opportunities for small content creators like me to at least partially monetize at the 500 sub, 3,000 watch hour level. These are things like access to channel memberships, super chat, super stickers, super thanks, and the ability to promote their own products with YouTube shopping. Now, many of you know that I also operate a VO swag outlet called BOOTHSTUFF.com, where I sell unique shirts like the one I'm wearing now, so I might be taking part in that at some point in the future after I cross over that 3,000 watch hour threshold. That's a way of saying that you might, at some point in the future, see my shirts and swag popping up under the video. And no lie, it'd be cool if you bought something to help support the VO Bootcamp. There are designs that you won't find anywhere else, all designed by me personally. And frankly, I think they're pretty nifty. But as to joining the YouTube Partner Program after 1,000 subs, where you start to get a piece of the actual YouTube AdSense revenue, honestly, I don't think I'm going to go for that even if it is available to me. The why is easy. There are all sorts of constraints and restrictions that come along with that path. And frankly, as a Gen Xer, I'm not a fan of being told what to do or how I can do it.
Kickboxing. I heard of kickboxing, sport of the future.
And once you're signed onto that program, channels normally start to change. You might start getting those clickbaity thumbnails. You know, the ones that get you into a video that probably has nothing at all to do with what's printed on the tin, all to get people's mouses to click on that video and massage that algorithm. That's not what I'm about. And that's not what I want to do. Mostly because you guys decided to subscribe to my content, and I owe you better than that. Yeah, every once in a while I might get a little bit clever with a thumbnail or a title in order to generate a bit of intrigue. But once you click that thumbnail, I feel I owe you guys to deliver on what's supposed to be in that video. You subscribers decided to trust me, and I take that trust seriously. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be staying as independent as possible by way of making money off Google. Could that change in the future? I suppose, but honestly, not likely. I like my independence. I mean, that's why I went into home-based VO in the first place. Okay, so let's get on to what might happen. So as I said, I'm not really interested in monetization, but I am interested in sponsorships. Sponsorships will allow me to give you guys a bit more by way of reviews and gear tests. Mostly. Aside from one video of mine where I was sent a mic from a manufacturer to review, every piece of gear I've reviewed or mic I've included in a shootout was purchased with my own money. And no lie, that got expensive fast. It's an important thing to be able to offer the VO community though, and honestly, my mic shootouts, those videos get the highest view count, and view counts mean channel growth. But I don't want to be exclusively about that here on the Bootcamp, mostly because others do that really well already, so you can get that information from them. People like
Check. What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike DELGAUDIO here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover.
Obviously, but also people I follow, like Tom Buck, BANDREW over at Podcastage, Aiden Wolf at Dark Corner Studios, and Alan Williams over at SoundSpeeds all have the nerdy stats you may want. I'll leave the bulk of that stuff to them. But when I do have an opinion about a piece of gear or a point of view on this or that, I'll give it to you in my way, which is less about what the box says and the statistics are, and more about how it performs in a real-world setting. And that is a slightly janky home studio that's good enough to pay some bills. And if sponsors come on board to help offset the costs of doing those kinds of reviews, I'll take it. I mean, I use 3 mics on a regular basis, but I now own upwards of 3 dozen of them, mostly because I purchased them for review. So yeah, you'll probably be going to see more of those sponsored content IDs in the corners of my videos in the future. Just know, you'll always know when what I'm talking about was sent to me by a manufacturer, I will always be unbiased in my reviews, and I'll never talk something up simply because I might have gotten it for free. I need to be able to sleep at night. Other potential changes to my content will mostly be things like better product videography with even less BS unboxing time because we all agree that's really lame. Me tightening up my delivery by using a teleprompter to keep my 50-something ADD brain on track. That actually makes editing a lot easier. You should see my cutting room floor. And reaching out to get even bigger guests for my Booth to Booth podcast. And in the interest of further disclosure, I will say that some of my content will be done through the use of generative AI tools. Truth is, we have to learn how to live in this new world, both as VO people and content creators. And if you want me to stay at this YouTube thing, at times, I'll need to leverage those tools to keep parity with other content creators. Just know that I'll never use AI tools to simulate or purport something that I'm not, or that I can't do myself by hand. It'll primarily be used for thumbnail creation or maybe reference images, but mostly gags. So now, let's talk about what won't be changing. I'm still gonna be me. The videos I make will still have plenty of goofy stuff in it, bad puns and lame dad jokes, and I may still wander down a path you might go, what the heck is he even on about? But I'll always strive to bring it back around to an actual point that I feel you should understand and agree is important to form an opinion about. That's why I started the VO Bootcamp. That's why I'm on YouTube in the first place. That's what I want to do. To be genuine. Yeah, I may have dumped a bunch of money trying to look as cool as some kid playing Minecraft, but that too had a reason behind it. If I didn't attract some manner of attention, I'd simply be a dude in a tiny room talking to myself, and frankly, as a professional voice actor and narrator, I already got that covered. I never in a million years thought I'd be nearing 500 subscribers and 100 videos back when I started this. But here we are. And I want to thank you folks for being there with me. It means a lot to me. I've made piles of really good friends and, yeah, even a few enemies, I guess, along the way. And I had a great time doing it. Look, I'm never going to be a big YouTuber. But that's okay. That was never my goal. My goal was to help people take a shot at this VO thing and to support their attempts and efforts with some industry experience that they didn't yet have. I wanted to support people like I was supported by other industry folks who showed me what their experiences were. And when that experience they shared was valuable, I supported them back as a show of gratitude by buying their classes, their swag, subscribing to them, smashing that like button, or letting their videos play all the way through. That was the least I could do. And if you'd like to show the Bootcamp some love and support, you can do the same for me. Although, that's entirely optional. I'm going to keep doing this. But the links to my Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and KOFI pages are down below, as well as my BOOTHSTUFF merch store and all my other media projects like podcasts and all that good stuff. Another way to help the channel is by commenting on videos. That makes the algorithm really happy and helps get the video out in front of other people. And as always, the link to the Bootcamp Discord server is down there as well, so you can come hang out with all us VO nerds and interface with me directly. It's interesting, I found it funny that a few people commented, "Oh, you're actually there." It seems that a lot of YouTubers start Discord servers and are never there interacting with their followers themselves. That's not how I roll. I'm there pretty much every day during normal business hours here on the West Coast of America. So come hang out. But to wrap it all up, honestly, the biggest support you can give Bootcamp is just coming back and watching the videos. That's always enough for me. Until next time, everybody, I'm Andrew Scott, and you've been at the VO Bootcamp. See you later, campers. Bye-bye.